All right, so today we're going to be testing out which AI platform does the best image generation between ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and Grok Imagine. And we're going to be using the highest level of, creation that we can do on each with the memberships that we have. Take note on Gemini, I don't have a membership. We're just working with the free version, but for ChatGPT and Grok, I do have paid memberships. So we're going to start out with ChatGPT. We're going to say create an image. And we're going to be using this same prompt every single time. I'm going to be clicking high intelligence. That way it takes its time. Hopefully that makes a difference. Okay, so create image. So we're using this prompt. It says hyper-realistic photograph of a confident young adult, mid-20s, attractive, all kinds of details here. I'm just going into depth. And basically we just want an individual that's, well-defined, very in detail, hyper-realistic image of a person, basically saying ChatGPT has the best image generation, like holding up a sign saying this. Now for each of them, I'm going to change it to the platform we're actually on. So I'll change it to Grok, I'll change it to Google Gemini, and see what they create. So I'm going to go ahead and input this. And we can actually run it at the same time so we don't waste time here. So I'm going to see, is there a way to basically have it create an image, because I want to make sure we're doing this 100% properly. All right, so I went to the create images section and I am doing it here. So then instead of ChatGPT, I'm going to say Google Gemini, and we'll also hit enter, and we have it on flash extended. That way we're getting the most. And now we'll go to Grok. Take note, we're not working directly in Grok Imagine. We're using just standard Grok. Grok Imagine's a little different, but both can actually create this. So we're going to go create images. We're going to make sure that's clicked, and we're going to tell it the exact same thing that we want, and we're going to edit this to Grok. And then we're going to go ahead and hit enter and see what it creates for us. So this might take a little bit of time. Each one of these does take some time, but let's go back and take a look at what we've created so far. So this is in ChatGPT, and this is actually extremely high quality. This aligns with what we requested, and it says ChatGPT has the best image generation, which is what we requested on the for the sign for her to be holding. Now, I also checked to see if it actually spells it out correctly, because sometimes there's issues with that, but it looks fantastic. Let's take a look at Google Gemini. All right, this is also pretty good. Google Gemini has the best image generation. It's exactly the same thing that we requested. And honestly, I can't complain. It's pretty high quality. Let's take a look at the other one again. This is like, they're both exceptionally good. I kind of prefer this one because there's a lot more detail on the freckles, which is what we requested. Let's see if I can see it here. But she also has it. Mind you, like, I just find like the way that they did lighting and everything here just looks a lot more realistic. It looks more natural. This does look natural too, but it has kind of an AI vibe with the background, I feel, despite both having the blur. This just the sunlight and everything feels a little more natural. Let's take a look at what Grok created. Now, Grok created a completely different thing. They went with a male. And honestly, that's completely fine. We didn't ask for a specific sex, as you can see, so that, kind of creates a different result. So maybe what we should do is try this one more time, and I'm going to go ahead and actually say young adult male. Let's just do male for each, and we're going to see if it actually creates a difference. That way we can actually assess it accurately for both. Mind you, this is fantastic, but I don't like the hands here. Those feel a little bit less natural. We'll try it one more time for each. So we're going to use the same prompt, but on each of them, I'm going to adjust it to a adult male. That way we get exactly the same thing. So that way it's not different, because we want to see if it's actually, if there's any differences between them. Right now, ChatGPT and Gemini are pretty tight, but we'll see if there's any difference, if any, when using the same sex. Let's see here, ChatGPT. That way there's less freedom for it to come up with its own human in this case. So this is what we get. We get a male again. And I mean, it's pretty decent. I mean, once again, I just don't like the hands. So right now, this is the least realistic one for me. So that's obviously third place. Let's take a look here. Kind of the same vibe as the first one. They just made it a man. Let's take a look at the close-ups. The hands look at least pretty realistic. This is definitely better than Grok. And then finally, let's see what ChatGPT does. My only issue with ChatGPT is I find it takes a lot longer in comparison to the others. I find both Grok and Gemini a lot faster, but ChatGPT does tend to give a lot more detail in my experience. So let's see what it gives. Yeah, and it kind of is the best one if I'm being completely honest. The hands look real, it's the correct writing in the right way, and he just looks more realistic in my opinion. I mean, maybe I'm just biased, but I personally prefer this over this. I just find the details a lot nicer. So if I had to rank them, ChatGPT still leads in terms of image generation just for standard images. Second place goes to Gemini, and third place goes to Grok. When it comes to thumbnails, I flip-flop between those, but I think ChatGPT also wins out. I typically use ChatGPT when we create thumbnails. You know, every platform has its own strengths, but for us, I think ChatGPT still wins out. So that's it for today. Hopefully you guys found this video a bit insightful to see the differences between all three of these platforms. If you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe, and have a nice day.